speak up and I'll try my best to fix it. Have a wonderful class. Thank you so much for being here. All right, namaste, yogis. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to see so many beautiful faces showing up on your mat. My name's Cristin, for those of you that are new, and this is a 75-minute yin class that's going to be super yummy and just for you. So let's go ahead. We're going to start in a supported child's pose. So for those of you that are kind of new to the shape, you can start in a tabletop position, and then just bring your knees wide, the toes touch. Here's where you could use bolsters or blankets, making sure that you're comfortable. You could rest your chest. You could even build a little pillow with your blanket. Wherever you're going to start this shape, just make sure that you're comfortable and you can find a little bit of peace and quiet. You could also put something underneath your knees if you wanted to, take a little of the pressure off, even allowing something between your knee joint, like a towel that helps too. And then we're going to just settle in to our opening shape and just breathe. Taking a moment here to be comfortable, leaving aside anything that might have followed you to your mat, whether that's tasks, things coming up in your week ahead. Maybe you've got a big assignment or a big meeting. Let all of that stay off of your mat for the next 75 minutes. Clearing the mind, allowing space to enter not just for our own physical health, but for our mental health in this moment. And with the body still, let's go ahead and take a collective breath together. So let out all the air. We're going to fill up the belly for 3, filling up for 2, 1, holding it there for 3, 2, 1, and release it slowly. 3, 2, 1. Let's do that again. Bigger breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding it there. Feeling a little more air coming into the body. Open up the mouth, sigh it out. As you continue to breathe at your own pace, let's start to focus on the breath. The cooling inhales, smooth and controlled. And then the warming exhales, noticing the sound that the air makes as it brushes against the back of your throat. Those wave-like ocean sounds of our breath in the yoga practice are called our yogic breath. It can be a healthy distraction during times in your practice that you may find yourself in need of a healthy distraction. It's also when we begin our practice, when we start to notice the breath, that signifies the beginning of our yoga practice. Turning up the volume of your breath, especially being in this shape, protecting your heart, facing the mat, feeling the hips just gently ease their way down. Now with the body still, the breath engaged, let's concentrate on filling our mind with what we call our sankalpa, or our intention. Keep it in the present tense. Maybe fill in the blank. I am, I have, I'm filled with. And if nothing bubbles up, that's okay. You could always just focus on gratitude. Being open to this practice, being curious. No matter where our journey goes tonight, tell yourself in your mind a little thank you for showing up. The hard part is done. You're here. And as we make our way with our fellow yogis, just quietly say thank you to them for sharing their good energy on this beautiful night. Good. As we begin a little bit of movement here, we're going to lift our torsos up, coming onto our hands and knees in a tabletop. That'll mean you need to put your props aside. So just move anything that might be in your space. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Strong, straight arms, knees are hip width apart. Untuck the toes, lower the belly, cow pose. Take a deep breath. And then exhale for cat, round and curl, tuck the chin, maybe even bring the hips a little closer to the wrists. Inhale for cow. Nice, smooth breath. And then exhale for cat. It's time to take another cow pose, lower the belly, tuck the toes, and then we're just gonna shift our weight a little bit back, waking up the inner feet, inner arches of the feet, the toes. You can pulse a little bit. You could even see about taking a wrist stretch, gently seeing if one hand at a time can turn the fingers towards the back of the mat. And if it feels good and you want more, then sit back, tuck the chin. We do so much with our wrists, they get fatigued, driving, any repetitive motion, texting, typing. One more breath here. Neutralizing the hands, untuck the toes, lower the belly for cow pose. Inhale. And staying here, let's lift the feet off the mat and just roll around the ankles. The tail is still lifted. Good. Lower the feet down, walk the feet towards the right side of the mat and walk your hands, creating kind of a C shape, gazing back towards the right foot. Breathing into the left side body here. Switching sides, walking back through center and then over towards the left. So left feet, the feet turn towards the left and then gazing towards those feet. Good, back through center. A few more cat and cows at your own pace. So when you lower your belly, inhale through your nose. Maybe close your eyes here. We're just lubricating the joints, moving forward and back at your own pace. Maybe faster than mine or slower than my pace. Good, and when you're ready, we're gonna come to a seat. You've got a few options on how to get there. You could cross at your shins and sit back. Some of you that's uncomfortable, you could come onto one side or the other. We're just gonna meet in a forward fold. So the legs are long on the mat. I would say encourage you have your blocks or some props nearby if you need to. Rest your head. And in yin and like our other practices of yoga, we don't need it to be very firm. Like be relaxed, allow your body to naturally just land in these shapes. Sit bones take up lots of room. Let's bring our arms to the sky. Inhale, we're growing the spine long. And then exhale, hands through heart center. We're just gonna walk our hands on the outside of our legs until we start to feel a rounding. Once you feel that rounding, that's called your edge. Once you've hit your edge, you wanna inhale, offer the heart just a little bit more. And then exhale, we're gonna round down. So here's where you can use some props because we're gonna be in each of these shapes for a little while. You can build a little prop tree and allow your head to rest. If that's not comfortable for you, then don't do it. Making sure that you're listening to yourself and your body. And as you breathe, maybe the prop tree gets a little lower. Every single time you exhale, you get deeper into the stretch. So settling into this shape doesn't have to be to the fullest extent. It's called caterpillar. So closing the eyes, just breathe. The hardest part for most yogis in our yin practice is letting the mind be still and silent. Some of the shapes that we're going to get into are not the most comfortable. So trying to find a spot where you can not only find stillness with the body, except for the breath, but also a peaceful mind. And check in with the breath. Are you filling up? Really feel the back body expand. So with each inhale, there's this expansion. And with each exhale, you're lowering deeper into the stretch, building that tissue around your joints and muscles. That's what yin is known for, strengthening our deep tissue fascia. Make sure your jaw is nice and relaxed. Maybe even swallow, bring a little moisture to the back of your throat. You're doing so good. About halfway there, just breathe. For the next couple of breaths, I'll offer even more relaxed variation of this shape. To bend at your knees and take your arms where your elbows and knee joints match, allowing the body to feel so heavy that your chest and it's just rounding, breathing into the upper neck. This is called our broken robot or ragdoll. If it doesn't feel good, just come out of it. It's okay. Last 2 mindful breaths here, really breathing into the lower back, the hips. And when you're done with that second and final exhale, just walking the torso upright 1 vertebrae at a time. Take all the time you need to get upright. And then we're going to take our hands behind us and just gently open the heart. Maybe like the legs extend long and just open up. Counterbalance here. We're going to come onto our backs. So just make sure you got lots of room, bringing any of the props nearby. We're going to take our knees in towards our chest and just gently make some circles, massaging the hips, the lower back. If you are making circles towards the right, go the other direction for a few breaths. Good. Let the legs extend long on the mat and the arms overhead. We're building our banana asana pose. So we're going to walk both feet towards the bottom right corner of the mat, stacking the left ankle on top of the right. Adjust your torso a little bit so it's comfortable. Remember, we're not statues. We can move. Bringing the hands to the top right corner of the mat. So you're building that banana shape with the body, gazing towards the right ear, temple down. There's not a lot of effort in this shape. So if you feel like you're not doing very much, you're doing it right. Just breathe. Quieting the mind, just allowing it to have your sankalpa swirling around and nothing else. In our yoga practice in life, we have minds that are very busy, constantly thinking, constantly chattering. In Sanskrit, that's called our chitta vrita, or our monkey mind. So when you notice that's happening, acknowledge the thoughts, ask them to leave, and then bring back your sankalpa. Focus on that. Two more breaths, breathing into the left side body space. Letting go of the world and the stress. We're going to switch sides. Gently unwind, bringing the legs to the bottom left corner, stacking the right ankle on top of the left. Adjusting the torso as you, with a deep bend in the elbows, bring your hands over towards the top left corner, and then stacking the right palm on top of the left. Gazing towards the left, relax the shoulders, maybe even tuck the shoulder blades under. Relax your toes. Good. Feeling the stress just melt away as we breathe into the right side body. Rib cage expanding open. Opposite of how we started our practice, with our hearts being shining to the sky, openness. Coming back through center, we're going to build our supported fish pose. So if you don't have the blocks that you need, as soon as I get everybody into the shape, I'll come bring some to you. But I would suggest having at least 2 blocks, if not like a blanket and a block. We're going to start by sitting up, however you need to get there. And the first block or prop, you could use one of your blankets or even a bolster, is going to go right underneath your shoulder blades. So once you're down, right, you can see where that's going to feel underneath your shoulder blades. It's secure. The second block or prop that you have will then protect your head, and you'll lay that probably the highest, if you're using a block, the highest route, and then opening up the heart. So if you don't have any of those tools with you, especially at home, you could always take this without props by tucking your hands, palms facing down, legs are extended long, and then lift your gaze forward, allow the crown of the head to come down. If you're in studio and you want some blocks, I'll come and bring some to you. Just track me down. Okay, good. At this point, you have options with your hands. You could leave them by your sides, palms facing up, just open to this shape. You could even bring your hands, one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Just find the spot that's happy and makes you happy. Just close the eyes, noticing the openness. It's kind of the opposite of how we spend most of our day hunched over. The benefits are real and they're just huge. Allowing the space around the cavity of the heart to increase, open, expand. You're doing great, about halfway there. Breathe into the shape. So good. Last two breaths. Really see about being curious of the breath. With the inhale, follow it to the top and then pause. And then your exhale, following that breath all the way to the bottom. And then pause. We slowly make our way out of this. We're coming back into a seated position to build our seated cobbler. So you just gently remove the props. You could come to one side or the other. We're going to roll back up, counterbalance that opening of the heart with another forward fold. So you can scoot yourself into the middle of the mat or wherever you're most comfortable. Some of you, if your knees are really high or you're hunched over in this shape, you would benefit from sitting on a block that extends the spine, makes you grow taller, right? The other part, say you're not hunching, but your knees are really high like this, just allow the feet to go further away from the body, creating more of a diamond shape. So in this shape, we're targeting our hips, we're targeting the forward fold, the strengthening of the back. So let's go ahead and just walk our hands and see what you can grab for, what's accessible to you, whether it's your ankles, your shins, some of you even the toes. So wherever you are in this space, we're wanting to open up the hips. That's really our target. Think of opening this way, as well as hinging forward this way. So you don't want to push or pull as you start to hinge forward. Make sure you're breathing and then find that edge. Once you hit it, inhale, lengthen even further, and then exhale, fold in. You could build yourself another prop tree here. I know a lot of people, it's more comfortable to have your head resting against something. Just even putting props to support your knees, if that's more comfortable for you, just settling into this shape, breathing into the openness of the hips. A lot of people hold a lot of tension in their inner thighs. Try and relax the glutes. See if you can just allow the body to be really loose and limp. With each and every inhale, you're feeling the body expand, and with the exhale, the body kind of melts further into the shape. Doing great. Just breathing into the hip space. We're about halfway there. Give it 4 more mindful, full body breaths. And on your last 4th exhale, maybe faster than mine, maybe slower than mine, we're going to bring our torso upright, just slowly making our way, crown of the head tall to the sky, and then bring our hands behind us. You could even use your hands before doing that and bringing your legs gently assisting behind the knees, and bring them about mat width apart, toes out, feet, heels in, and just gently windshield wiper, bringing a little blood flow back to the hips. If you find a sticky spot, you could always just stay and breathe into it. Good. We're going to set up now for our saddle pose, which is an intense quad stretch, but it's also a back bend. You can either come to one side or the other, cross at your shins, but we're meeting in that child's pose with our legs. So how we started our practice. And I will say, if you have really sensitive knees, you could double up your mat. You could put your blankets or something underneath your knee joints, and you'll take your knees wide and the toes together. Some alternatives, if this is really harsh on your body, you can start by sitting on a prop or two, right? That you don't have to put all of the weight down right away. And over time, as you breathe into it, then you can lower yourself down further and further, right? We're trying to get a nice deep stretch in our quads. So you can stay upright the whole time. Hands can rest either on your thighs. You could have them at heart center. There's no right or wrong. Or over time in this shape, you can bring your hands behind you. Maybe you've got blocks back there helping bring the earth a little closer so it's not as harsh. And then also, if you start to move back, there's one key element. You want to tuck your tailbone under, right? Tuck that tailbone under, and then allow yourself to see, maybe I could come on to my forearms. If that's the case and you want to stay here, at least try it. You could rest your chin towards your chest or allow the neck to just come back. So you have to decide what that looks like for you, because it feels different for everybody. If you want further, you could always bring the crown of the head down to the mat and then allow the body to just make its way somewhat flat. The full expression of this shape is to have your arms up overhead, elbows bent, palms to the sky. You know you've gone too far if your knees come off of the mat. So making sure that wherever you start, it doesn't have to be where you end. Just make sure that it's comfortable enough. Close the eyes and just breathe into the shape. Using whatever tools you have at your disposal to make sure that it's as comfortable as it can be for the time that we're here in it. Remember, there's just shapes. You might not look like mine, your neighbors might not look like yours. It's fine. Close the eyes, focus on you and what you can accomplish here in this moment. Allowing yourself to relax the shoulders away from the ears. Just try and be as peaceful and heavy as possible. Allow the body to just melt into the shape. And if you need something to distract you, use the music in the room or at your house. Use the breath, the sound of the breath. Maybe count it out in the mind, inhaling for 3, 2, 1, holding it for 3, 2, 1, releasing it for 3, 2, 1. Over and over in your mind, just let the breath guide you. Doing great, about halfway there. And there's never a reason that you can't come out of a pose. You don't have to suffer. Listen to your body. You're your best teacher. So good, everybody. 3 more mindful breaths. And if you are all the way reclined on that third and final exhale, we're all going to meet sitting upright. And then we're going to move towards a counterbalance pose called snail pose. So take your time. There's no rush. If you are the way flat, bringing your knees together. So maybe passing through a tabletop. And then either sitting back on a block or onto towel or something, allowing the head and spine to just round. The crown of the head comes down. Your hips can be high. That's a different variation. It's our rabbit pose. And then bring your arms by your sides, allowing the palms to come up. The shoulders are super heavy. If you wanted to try rabbit, it's an even deeper bend in the spine, a curvature. You could grab the heels, your heels with your fingers, and then raise the hips up, coming more onto the center of the head, the crown of the head. If it's not for you, just return to snail, that's fine. Last 2 breaths here, just kind of undoing any extra lingering stress in the lower back. Good. Gazing forward, we're going to come onto our bellies. So however you need to get there, don't overthink it. We're just coming onto the belly, building our happy shoulders. So this is a nice shoulder stretch for those of you that haven't done this shape before. Landing in our Sphinx. So starting on our elbows, our arms are out in front of us. Let's just go ahead and take our shoulders back, untuck the toes. They're about hip width apart. The feet should be about hip width apart. And just lengthen through the crown of the head. Sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath. And then bring your chin towards your chest, lowering it down. Try and keep your shoulders the way they are. Inhale, right ear, right shoulder. Just breathing into the left neck. And then exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, left ear, left shoulder. Just breathing here. Exhale, chin to chest. And then neutralize your head. We're going to allow the right hand to come out in front of us as a sturdy support tool. The left hand is going to squeeze. So you're going to line up the left elbow with the center of your breastbone. The right hand then is going to cross that right elbow on top of the left. It doesn't matter if your palms are down or up, it's preference, like it doesn't hurt the pose. When you're ready, we're going to tuck our toes and then allow the torso to just, the whole body is just going to press forward. And you're going to know whether that's too far or not. You can always come out of it. You could stay upright with your head or allow the chin to come down towards that right bicep. Could even make a little prop tree here if you wanted to unwind and bring over your block to rest your head. Breathing into the shoulder space, upper neck. Being so close to the mat, your breath should sound super loud, encouraging, inspiring. A lot of people tend to clench their jaw in this shape. Just relax. Bring the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Just breathe. You're doing great. Halfway there. Just breathe into the shape. Imagine the openness in the shoulder girdle, right in between your shoulder blades, that space, just opening up. Last 3 mindful breaths here. Good. Let's slowly make our way up. Unwind our arms and then just move the prop if you had one aside. Bring the head down, gazing towards the right, left ear temple down. Bring the arms by your side, palms facing up. Just a mini belly shavasana here. Could even bend at your knees and windshield wiper the legs if that feels good to you. Lowering, releasing a little bit of the lower back tension. Letting the legs hang long on the mat. Let's turn our gaze towards the left, right ear temple down. We're going to take a second side here. So coming back into our Sphinx pose to start, just coming onto your elbows, maybe scooting back a little bit on the mat if you were up as high as I was. We're going to take our left hand this time out in front of us as a support tool, and then right hand palm facing up or down. You're going to line up that right elbow with your breastbone. Left hand is going to come on top this time, and then tuck your toes and bring that weight forward to your own degree of comfort. You can keep your head upright or maybe allow the chin to come down towards the left bicep. Just making sure that you're breathing. This is a fresh new side with this, so maybe don't go all the way to the full expression of what you have. Just let it be natural. Let the breath control the movement. Try your best to relax the glutes, making sure you're not holding any tension in your toes, fingers. Doing great, halfway there. For the last 3 breaths, what can you just release? Maybe it's something physical, maybe it's something swirling around in your mind or an emotion. Just release. Good. We're going to slowly come unwound, bringing our body back to that belly shavasana, but this time maybe make a pillow with your hands and rest the forehead down. Give your shoulders a little bit of love here. Just let them relax. Could then bend your knees again and windshield wiper if it felt good. We're gonna head and turn this into our dangling pose. And to get there, we're gonna pass through a tabletop. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders and just lift the torso up into tabletop. You're gonna tuck your toes and just keep walking the hands. You're gonna lift your knees off the mat, keeping the knees nice and bent, hip width apart. This pose called dangling pose is just a forward fold. So you're just allowing the body to be heavy. Some of us, we've got really tight hamstrings. That's okay. You could use a block and allow the earth to come a little closer. Just relax the neck. And I would encourage you to start with your knees pretty bent, okay? And then over time, you can straighten them. Your hands can be just dangling down below, or maybe even grab elbows and sway, more playful. Making sure that the feet, all 4 corners, are firmly pressed into the mat, but you're off of your heels. You're more in the balls of the feet to help with hip alignment. And over time, as we breathe in the shape, you could straighten out the knees a little bit. Maybe the crown of the head is getting closer to the earth. Just close the eyes and just breathe here. Try and relax the neck. I see a lot of tension, so maybe gently shake the neck, yes. Head no, and yes. Just release the tension. Good. You had elbows, maybe put the other arm on top just for a little bit. Just put the other arm on top. Just feel what that feels like. Yeah. The purpose of holding on to the elbows is it helps our torso be a little heavier, so gravity gets to do a little bit of its part. Another alternative to that, you could always take your hands and gently place it at the back of your neck and just don't pull anything, but see if that helps elongate the spine even more. Let the elbows be heavy in that shape and variation. Doing great. Give it 5 more breaths. Last breath. You really fill up. Feel the belly brush against the thigh. And then release. Hands come down, let them dangle. Bend the knees a lot. We're going to round up to a stand for 5 counts. 1 vertebrae at a time. It's coming to a stand. 4. The head is so heavy. You don't need to look at me. 3, 2. And once you hit 1, make fists. Bring your shoulders towards your ears. Take a deep breath through the nose. And then bring those shoulders down, let it go. Good. Let's grow tall. Arms up towards the sky. Upward salute. Maybe gaze up, test your balance. Exhale, hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. We're going to do that 2 more times. Maybe close your eyes. Inhale, breathe deep. Good breath in studio. Exhale, hands to heart center. Last one, like you're moving through honey with intention. Inhale. And exhale. Good. We're going to slowly, 5 counts, roll back down 1 vertebrae at a time. Let everything be heavy for 5, 4, bend the knees, 3, 2, and 1. Good. We're going to walk it out. I'm not going to deny you a down dog. If you want to sit in a downward facing dog, if not, we're going to meet in a tabletop position. So stretch it out, whatever you need. If you are in your tabletop position, let's go ahead and take a dancing lion. As you inhale, hips come forward, and then as you exhale, rolling the hips back. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. So we're making big circles with our torso. Maybe you find a sticky spot. My left hip is really tight tonight, so I'm going to breathe into that. This is one of those shapes that you probably do best by closing your eyes. Concentrate on how it feels, not so much how it looks. And let's go ahead and next cycle of breath. We're going to turn those circles in the opposite direction. So if you were going right before, now go left. Just concentrate on connecting the breath with the movement. Good. We're preparing for our swan pose in our traditional classes of vinyasa flow or hatha. That's going to be our pigeon. So it's a big hip opener. And so to start us, when you're ready, finding neutral tabletop, you're going to just step that right foot in the middle. If that's not something that's easy for you to do, start as a stand and then step your left foot back, okay? You could bring your hands to blocks or to the ground, and let's just make some circles with our hips, just lubricating this joint, making sure everybody's happy before we settle in. This is a low lunge that we're in right here, so it's pretty common in yoga for us to be in this shape. We're going to dive into a nice hip opener. When you're ready, we're going to take this right leg and heel toe it towards the left side of your mat. You're going to take both hands, place them out in front of you, and then wherever the knee lands, it doesn't have to be parallel to your mat. Wherever that knee lands, that's when you're going to tuck the left toes and see about scooching that left leg a little further down, okay? Most of us, when we first do this shape, we have a lot of space between our right hip. Put a blanket there or a block. Set yourself up to succeed, right? Like it doesn't need to be horribly uncomfortable. If there is any issue with your knee, meet me on your back and I'll show you that it's the same shape. It's just less invasive on your knee. So for those of us that want to stay upright, you are welcome to do so the whole time. You could come down on props, maybe onto your forearms. You could also come all the way down onto the ground. Or eventually one fine day, we're trying to get to the sleeping swan stage where we allow our head down, maybe making a pillow with our hands. And some of you may actually have your arms by your side, palms facing up and gazing towards the right, left ear, temple down. We're going to be in this shape for some time. So just make sure that you're breathing and focusing your mind on stuff that's positive for you. And at home, I'm showing the shape on your back for those of you who want to maybe try it after being in the traditional shape for a while. The same stretch, just less aggressive on your knee. Both males and females carry a huge amount of our stress in our hips. I call them, as a nickname, our stress lockers. So as we release the stress with each inhale and each exhale, just be mindful it's not dissipating into other areas of your body. Check in with your shoulders. Are you tense? Relax. Maybe you're holding on to some extra stress in your jaw. Relax. Even the space behind your eyes can hold tension and stress. So relax the forehead. Turning up the volume of your breath, making sure that that's a helpful guide for you, honing you into center. Doing so good. Halfway there. For those of you that want a little more of a twist, thread the needle by lifting the torso up. Right hand out in front of you to start. Left hand palm facing up is going to slide underneath, tucking that shoulder. You're going to then allow yourself left temple down. You can keep your right hand long out in front of you, or the full expression of this is to wrap the right hand behind your back and eventually maybe using your peace fingers to wrap around the right big toe. Just shapes, just options. If it's not for you, then don't do it. Target one spot in your body that you can release tension. Let it go. Last 4 mindful breaths here. Just really breathe deeply, slowly, smoothly. Good. And when you're done with your 4th and final exhale, if you are in traditional pigeon, or sorry, swan, we're going to lift our torsos up using our strong arms. We're turning this into our double swan. My favorite. So if you don't have props underneath you, take your right hand and lean it to the right side as you lean the body towards the right. Take your left hand, and we're just going to slowly bring that leg back around. From there, we're going to take the left leg, right hand onto the right foot, and stack the right on top of the left because we're targeting that right hip still. If this is not happening for you, just cross your legs. That's fine. You'll still get a nice hip stretch. Also, if you find that there's a lot of room between the right leg and that left foot, you could always put a prop there if it feels comfortable for you. But ultimately, we want to make enough room with our sit bones. You could sit on a block that we feel like we're sitting nice and tall, as well as getting a nice hip stretch. Let's take our hands by our up overhead. Take a deep breath through your nose. And then exhale through heart center. And here's where we're going to hinge at our hips. And then walk our hands forward. You're going to feel that rounding, right? You're going to find that edge. Once you're there, inhale, offer the heart. Just another breath. And then exhale, we're going to fold it. Prop tool, building a tower for your head is always a good thing in this shape. Making sure that your neck is comfortable and that you feel the sit bones really pressing into the mat. You could take your hands out in front of you and gently encourage them. If you're really high on this one, I highly recommend building a prop tool with whatever you got, just to rest the neck, find some comfort and just breathe. Where did your Sankalpa go? Is it still with you? Visiting that intention, distracting the mind from what exists. Let's take 5 more mindful breaths here. And on this last final breath, just really breathe in nice and deep. Send that air to the bottom of the lower back, the hip. And then on the exhale, walking the torso upright, 1 vertebrae at a time. Bringing those legs mat width apart. You can even use your hands to help guide them. Like we did before, toes out, heels in, hands behind you, or maybe even coming onto your forearms if that feels good. Whichever variation you like, just windshield wipering the legs, just noticing what needs a little extra love, breathing into the shape. If you are in your forearms, you could even bring your feet in towards your chest and massage the hips in that direction too. That's a yummy stretch. We're going to switch sides, but before we do, just notice the heat that we built on the right side body, all of that openness that we created. So you're going to meet me in a tabletop, however you need to get there. That's up to you. You can come to one side or the other. You can cross at the shin, just like I did. Good. Let's just take a few neutralizing cat and cows. Just lower the belly, lift the gaze. Inhale. And then exhale, round and curl. Just noticing the difference of these cat and cows from the first. Lower the belly, inhale. And then let's take angry cat, coming on to our fingertips. Really round the spine. Just breathe into the back, chin towards your chest. Lowering the hands down. Let's step the left foot between the hands. We're preparing for side 2. So let's make sure we're lubricating this hip joint, just back and forth. You can make small circles, it can be big circles. Good. And this side may be completely different for you. If you have any knee injury, meet me on your back. So we're going to start by heel toeing the left foot towards the door you came in, or towards the right side of the mat. Hands are going to come out in front of you at an angle, right? That's to support. And then wherever the knee lands, the knee lands. Some of you, it's really deep bent. Some of you, it's more, the shin is more parallel. Tuck the right toes and allow the torso to come down to your own degree. Again, be comfortable. Try and find something to place underneath your left hip if you have a lot of space. And then eventually you'll untuck the right toe. So you don't want to sit in this pose with the toes tucked the whole time. A nice stretch, you could always grab the side of your mats and open your heart. We usually have routines with this shape. So get yourself into the shape that you want to eventually settle into, closing the eyes and just breathe. You want this shape on your back, making sure the left ankle crosses over the right knee. Just pressing that lower back into the mat and just allow the right leg to lift off the mat, giving yourself a little bit of nice stretch on that left thigh. Be gentle with this fresh side, working your way into your fullest expression. Whenever you've got the green light to do so, following your breath's guide. Checking in with your breath. Is it smooth and controlled? Not, focus on that. See how smooth and controlled each inhale and exhale can be. Equal parts in Equal parts out. In our yoga practice, it's very easy to realize that the poses we need the most are sometimes the most uncomfortable for us. And as we hold shapes for longer periods of time, try your best to not be distracted by your thoughts. Focus on gratitude, focus on love. You're doing great, about halfway there. If you wanted to take that variation with a twist, you lift your torso up, bring your left hand out in front of you. Right hand palm flips up, and then tuck your shoulder. That's the key. Tuck the shoulder, and then allow the right temple to return down to the mat. Your left hand, if you wanted to take that bind, will wrap behind your back, and someday maybe even taking your peace fingers around the left big toe. Make sure that the face is nice and relaxed, no extra tension. Take 4 more mindful breaths. And when you're done with that 4th and final exhale, slowly bringing the body upright. If you're on your backs, you could stay where you are or meet us on your seats. Moving the props aside, you're going to take your left hand out by your side to lean into that left hand as a support. You could even help that right leg with the right hand and bring it around. And once you get here, that's when you're going to take your left hand onto the left foot and just lift that bad boy up so the right leg can squeeze under. Okay. So settle in. Maybe this side is not the side for double swan. That's fine. Take what you need. And then once you sit up nice and tall, let's bring our shoulders towards our ears. Inhale. And then exhale, release. You could stay upright or allow yourself to walk forward, hinging at the hips, searching for that edge. And once you find your edge, we're all going to inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Building that prop tree to help support your head so it's less painful. Just relax and imagine the sit bones are pressing down against the mat. You could even use your fingertips out in front of you and encourage that motion. Close your eyes and just breathe. Especially in this tight package that we're in with this shape. With your breath, it's so constricted. Just imagine the back body just opening up with each inhale. And then the exhale, just try and melt deeper into the shape. Feeling so heavy, so calm.
Doing great. 4 more breaths, just full body breaths. And then slowly, when you're ready, taking all the time, even slower than before, just one vertebrae at a time, making your way upright. Use your hands, help move those feet out, mat width apart. And you have those options again, pushing the props aside. You could be upright. You could come onto your forearms. Just let's get some blood flow back into the legs. Windshield wipering feels better for you, then take that option. And the rest of our shapes, we're going to be on our back. So maybe grab some water before we meet on our backs for the rest of the class. Bringing your props nearby you too, so that way you don't have to keep getting up and down. If you are coming onto your back, you could bring your knees in towards your chest when you're ready and just gently rock, making circles, rocking side to side, noticing the heat and the openness of the hips, the lower back space that we created. Massaging the spine here. When you're ready, we're building our twisted root. So you're gonna bring your right knee in towards your chest. The left leg, let's extend that left leg long, and then make sure you're situated more towards the right side of your mat or right shoulder side. If you're in the studio, it's towards the door you came in. Let's just make some circles with that right hip, moving it a little towards our right armpit. And when you're ready, the right toes are gonna sneak behind the left knee crease. Your left hand is gonna encourage the right knee to twist over towards your left side, so it's across the body. From there, adjust your torso. We're trying to get our shoulder blades kind of on the mat. It's obviously not always going to happen. The right shoulder is probably hovering. Bring your right arm out towards the right and then gaze towards that right hand. Imagine there's something really heavy in that right hand, just weighing it down. And so we teeter-totter between the right knee actually touching the ground and the right shoulder blade. Close the eyes and just breathe. Twists are super healthy for our digestive tract. They calm our nervous system. They improve circulation. Just make sure you're breathing through our twisted root. Those of you that may want the cattail variation of this shape, you would allow the right toes to come outside of that knee crease. Just let your right toes fall on the mat and bend the left knee. At that point, we're reaching for the top of the left toes with the right fingers. Once they made contact, allow the leg to return back to the mat. Gaze to the right still, just breathe. If you tried that variation, it's not for you, just release it. For those that want more from this twist, I'm going to offer the IT band stretch or dancing Shiva variation. You can either keep the cattail bind. If you are, you're going to extend and reach for the outer blade of the right foot with the left hand. You may have to watch out where you are in terms of room, but then you're going to see about extending that right leg straight. Nice IT band stretch here, but if it's too much, just come out of it. Take what you need and only what you need. Let's take 4 more mindful breaths, just slowing everything down. Switch directions. If you had any of those variations, release gently, coming back onto our backs. So flat on your back, let the right leg go long. Bring the left knee in towards your chest and give it a squeeze. We're just switching sides, maybe making circles with the whole leg. Just encouraging more openness towards that left armpit. We're going to tuck the left toes behind the right knee crease to start. You can even move your torso a little more towards the left shoulder side of your mat. And then take your right hand and see about encouraging a twist with that left knee towards the ground. The left arm is going to open up and then gaze towards your left. We don't want to pull or push anything, so just be mindful. With each breath, the shoulder or the knee should get a little closer to the mat. Just make sure your head is relaxed. Close your eyes and just breathe. If you wanted to take cattail on this side, you're going to remove that left foot to the outer side of the right kneecap onto the mat, and then bend the right knee, reaching for the top of the right toes with the left fingers. Once you have the toes, then see about bringing that right leg and left arm back down to the mat. And then if you wanted the extended IT band dancing Shiva stretch, you would reach for the outer blade of the left foot with the right hand. You got to bend your knee up towards your chest. And then at that point, see about just straightening out the left leg to your own degree. You can still have a bend in the knee. Your gaze is still to the left. Last 3 mindful breaths here. Just breathe. Good. Let's unwind. If you've had any of those variations, just gently release. We're all going to come onto our backs, and then hopefully your block or blanket is nearby. We're going to build a supported bridge. If you have a different bridge pose variation you'd prefer, that's fine. The soles of the feet are going to plant down while your knees are up towards the sky. They're about hip width apart, your feet. You're going to take your block or whatever tool you're going to use. As you lift your hips, you're going to place that tool underneath that triangle-shaped bone at the very bottom of your back. It's your sacrum. Your hands can come up overhead, tuck the shoulder blades, bend the elbows, palms facing up, or they could stay by your side. I like them up overhead, but it's up to you. And you can either stay here exactly as you are with your eyes closed or low, or maybe see about extending the legs long on the mat, letting the feet splay open. It's another heart opener here, but it's our supported bridge, just a variation of it. Whatever option you've chosen, just breathe. Winding down the practice, slowing down the breath. Good, and you could stay like this, or maybe take an inversion. I'm gonna offer you with the supported block still underneath your lower back, a waterfall. So the arms would remain the same up overhead if that's where they were placed, palms facing up. You're just gonna now make sure that that tool underneath your lower back is secure as you lift your legs up. You're just hovering. So if the tool doesn't feel secure, just put your feet down and just adjust, and then lift your legs up. Our waterfall, which is different than sleeping tiger, relaxes the shoulders while also getting the benefits of our inversion, the reverse of blood flow through the body. huge amounts of benefits, just like our twists. Does the same kind of concept with slowing our circulation, just everybody's blood pressure is lowered by these inversions. Providing fresh new energy in the entire body. Just a simple shape. We'll go ahead, and if you have a prop underneath your back, go ahead, bring your feet down first, remove the prop, and then just slowly stretch out on your mat. We've made it to our final shape of the practice, our final asana, which is our corpse pose. So your arms are going to come wide, take up lots of space, palms faced up, maybe tuck the shoulder blades under, feet are relaxed. Make sure you're not lifting your chin, the spine in line. Closing the eyes here. As we settle into our final blissful rest, the part that we've worked so hard for is now where we can soak up all those benefits. Enjoy your Shavasana, and I'll quietly guide you back. Remaining completely still, let's take a deep breath in through the body. And then release that breath. You can wiggle toes or fingers. Or maybe gently awaken the body organically with a little subtle movement. We are ending our practice here on our backs this evening. Allow the body to just be still, find a little gentle movement. To bring our hands, connecting the energy between the left and right hemispheres of our brain, between the palms, connect those palms, and then bring the energy right to your heart. As we end our yoga practice, just like always, we are filled with gratitude for our fellow yogis sharing their energy, the space that you carved out at home to practice our craft, as well as the ability to show up on every level for the work out and the work in. Noticing the difference in just a short period of time that you've made. And no one else can do that work for you. Hope that energy stays with you for the rest of the weekend and into the week ahead. It has been a treat to guide you. Delight in me,
loves, honors, and appreciates the light in every one of you. Namaste, yogis. There's no rush. You end at your own pace. Thank you for being here. Thank you, online yogis, for being here and present. Appreciate all of you. Till we meet again.